Today we're speaking with Kelsey Witherow, the founder of Dope, which sells edible cookie dough from San Francisco's Pier 39 and the Las Vegas Strip. I met Kelsey at the Food Funded conference last summer, and she raised $167K from 150 investors on WeFunder a few months later. She's truly a marketing genius. Check out Dope's social media presence and you'll see what I mean. And Kelsey really made crowdfunding look easy. Just before she ran her WeFunder campaign, she did a perks-based crowdfunding campaign on a platform called PieShell. So among other things, she talks about her contrasting experiences of equity versus perks-based crowdfunding. Here's Kelsey.
Kelsey, welcome to the podcast. We're excited to have you on. Our first in-person recording. To get us kicked off, we'd love to hear a little bit about you. If you could talk a little bit about your background that led you to starting Dope.
Yes, happy to be here, guys. Love being in the WeFunder house. Nice to do this in person with y'all. I'm Kelsey Witherow. I'm the founder and fearless leader of Dope Cookie Dough, but I've got a little bit of a different background. I spent 10 years working in tech before jumping into the food industry. I got sober in 2015 and just decided to go after my passions, figure out what I love, and ditched kind of the safe and steady career to pursue my love of desserts. I really love making people happy with sweets, and Dope gives me the opportunity to do that every day.
Cool. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about Dope as a business. When did you launch it, and what's the business model?
Yeah, so business model is pure cookie dough world domination. We sell safe to eat. It's edible and bakeable cookie dough, and we scoop it up in storefronts on Pier 39, the Las Vegas Strip, and we ship nationwide. We do some catering, wholesale. You could find us popping up a few places like Oracle Park or Off the Grid. Usually doesn't make it to the oven, but Spoon Liquors nationwide can dig in.
How much of the business is retail versus the shipping it?
Right now, we're like 75% of our revenue is our retail storefronts, really trying to build that brand awareness, get as many people to come in and understand what does Dope stand for, what are they all about, what do they care about, and then be lifelong customers that can end up finding us in grocery or other outlets down the road.
Love it.
Yeah, so Dope has a really, really cool social mission that really drives a lot of the branding and a lot of the business, even some of the flavors. So can you talk a little bit about that mission and what you guys stand for?
Totally. I think after getting sober and having that be the impetus to change my life and how much awesome stuff has come from that, I just thought there's got to be a way to use the platform that the company has built to spread more awareness around the issues I care about and what's affected me personally. Because sadly, mental health or addiction, like those issues are not unique to me. They're affecting so many of us, and 1 in 2 Americans will be diagnosed with a mental health disorder in their lifetime. So wow. Pretty serious statistics, and I just thought if I've got this thing that I could, have an opportunity to be in front of so many people, especially Pier 39 or the Strip, seeing like 20,000 transactions a month going through our storefronts, what a chance to say something and talk about what you care about. So we formed the Dope for Hope initiative in 2018, and between policies that affect our employees and experiences that engage and entertain our customers, we help raise awareness around mental health and addiction, reduce the stigmas. Like everybody's got something going on or someone they know does. And if I can make it a little less scary to talk about it, all the better. So we've got our Dope for Hope flavor in the store. 100% of proceeds are donated to a different mental health or addiction focused nonprofit. Wow. Pretty cool stuff. And it makes customer loyalty grow. They feel like you're doing something more than just trying to make money. And even employee loyalty, they know you care about them as a person and that they're working for a cause. And I think this constant talk about millennials wanting more purpose, even if they're working an hourly job, it's really true. We had a really long stretch with no turnover in our store staff. I think we went 8 months without someone leaving, which is unheard of for someone making minimum wage, essentially.
How important, you mentioned customer loyalty around that, the mission component of Dope. How important do you think that is? Is that really is that really going to drive people to come back and buy more cookie dough, or is it really just the cookie dough tastes amazing?
Luckily, it tastes delicious. So we're step one, check, moving in the right direction. But I think it's about how many people you're going to tell. if you walked up somewhere and you got a scoop of cookie dough and you walked out and it was pretty good, I mean, okay, I might not share it. I get gelato sometimes, I get a cupcake sometimes, but like, do I tell everyone? Maybe not. If you go into a shop and they're selling cookie dough, but you also went through and answered these raw truth cards with your family, and you asked your 13-year-old daughter, name 3 things you love about yourself. And like, you've created this like memory, or they signed the Dope for Hope pledge in the store. Like those things like ingrain it deeper where they'll want to share it with other people, be it on Instagram right away, taking a photo or something, or like sharing what they did last week or what they did on vacation. Like that's going to be more memorable to them than like, yeah, we got dessert one afternoon while we were in Vegas. And
that's a really good point. I think that makes sense. And it's really cool when like the social impact of what you're doing kind of reinforces and amplifies the financials and the business success as well.
Totally. People always talk about like, how can I have money to do philanthropy or whatever? And it's like, you're looking at it so backwards. Like if you invest in something you care about, or you put money towards doing good or giving back, like that should return itself in revenue, 2, 3, 4-fold. Like you shouldn't be worried about, responsible expenditures to do good when it should, if coordinated and communicated correctly, increase your business to cover it fully.
And they're called raw truth questions. One of the things that we've always bonded on, I think, since we met at that food funding conference, is puns.
Yeah,
puns. Like, can you go through some of your flavors?
Totally. We have this s'mores hella lit and ride or die. We've got bite me for our Shark Tank flavor. I got to appear on Shark Tank this year. What else do we have? Cinnamon. What do you love? Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
I like
basic betch. It was a pumpkin spice flavor.
I like the puns, just the broader puns about the business, like dope, have a dope day.
Have a dope day. It says like donation jar on our tip jars. Yeah.
Eat it and heat it. Life is best served raw. There's so many.
Raw dough and real conversation. Yeah, have a lot of fun with it. I mean, it makes people remember stuff more. And honestly, like the little stuff, like donation jar, like the number of people that get to like smile when they see that, it's just worth it. It's like these little things. Or we have a taster spoon like drop at the Vegas store. So you drop it through this little chute. It's like a spoon chute, so it clinks down the metal and hits at the end. It says spoon me like right above it, so it has a little arrow to drop it in. And it's like, yeah, we could have put a little dirty spoon bucket on the counter, but this like made people giggle. So the brand is definitely from, what we write on the napkins that we serve the coffee drinks on, to the raw truth cards, to the flavor names, everything. Yeah.
And you mentioned Shark Tank. I think you were our first podcast guest to also have been on Shark Tank.
I don't have much hair, but I'm flipping it right now. You just can't see.
So talk to us about that. How did that happen? Like, obviously I feel like you in one sense totally crushed it, and all the sharks was super complimentary. You didn't get funded, but
totally.
What was that experience like?
So getting on it is crazy. I went to an open call in San Francisco. I stood in line with like 300, 400 people or something.
Really?
Yeah. And then, so like they don't just cherry pick everybody. Sometimes I think people think Shark Tank just goes and like finds people, but they really do get people from casting calls.
Wow.
Almost didn't go. It was like I had to be there at 6 a.m. the next morning, but one of my employees was like, no, go, I'll bring you the cookie dough samples. Like, you should go and do it. So you go up, you got like 90 seconds to tell them why you would just be like the best entrepreneur ever and your product is so awesome. And they were like digging into the dough within a few seconds and like loved what I was all about. And it was pretty amazing. There's 45,000 people that apply and 120 will make it on an episode.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy odds.
What do you mean 120 will make it in an episode?
I'm sorry, in a season.
In a season, got it.
Yeah, 120 people make it in a season. So, and I think they even film like 160 or something like that. So even if you get filmed, you're still like, oh my God, it might not air.
If it goes badly.
Yeah, if it's not entertaining enough, they still want good TV. So like, I didn't get a deal. Like you said, great compliments. Barbara Corcoran said I was the most sophisticated store owner she'd ever met in her life.
Look at that.
And Robert Hirschbeck said I was an amazing operator and, stuff like that. So really cool stuff. Mark Cuban said there's every reason to invest in you. He just couldn't get behind
Mark Cuban
products that weren't healthy.
And then the next
Yeah, invested in Fat Shack that makes like 2,000 calorie plus sandwiches the next week on Shark Tank. So the internet had a few things to say about that.
You then gave him some stick about that on Twitter, I think.
Yeah.
Like hashtag haul at me, Mark. I'm still ready. Cuban, if you're listening, give me a call.
I'm pretty sure Mark Cuban does listen to this podcast.
For sure.
Mark,
We are the #1 equity crowdfunding podcast.
So funny. Yeah, it was an awesome experience. Very surreal, like super out of body when I walked out of that, but and more nerves than I've ever physically felt in my life before the doors open to let me walk through. They count down from like 30
how many people
or
watch
something.
it?
Well, there's 100 people standing in the room off stage. It's like a giant warehouse, and then I think Nelson stats are up to there's 12 million people that have seen it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you know that this like 5 or 10 minutes is going to be watched by 12 million people.
And it was actually an hour and 15 that I was in there in front of them answering questions. And
but
you
they
saw
edit
6
it down
minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's so much more that happens, but they have to, for TV, whittle it down, but they won't stop filming at any point. It's just like you get filmed continuously until you get a deal or everyone's out. And so it took an hour and 15. But yeah, it was very cool. I mean, not getting a deal on Shark Tank in many ways helps because then more people reach out that do want to invest.
Yeah, and you had a lot of that.
Yeah. We had a few dozen investors reach out. So just an awesome position to be in, to be like vetting who's the right investor instead of feeling so needy for money. I think entrepreneurs get in this space of just like, oh my God, I need money. I don't care who it's from. But you need to be smart about the decisions because who's on your cap table will affect future rounds.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about this at the food fund we went to last month, that you had one investor who reached out from Shark Tank that was promising quite a big check. In the end, you took the tough decision to turn that down. Without going into too many details, can you just talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, I think like the most important thing is just feeling really comfortable in your gut. Like we all have good guts. That's why you're a good entrepreneur. And if your company's at a stage where you're raising money, you've been able to make pretty good decisions. And when something doesn't feel right or you can't be sure you understand why they have those funds or why they're interested in you or who else they work with that could make a lot of sense for you in a reputable way or someone else to talk to that has had them invest. And it just, those things weren't lining up and you've got to be confident in yourself that you can find another route to get the money that you need and not feel pigeonholed. So usually I think another thing that helps with that is planning and executing your raise before you're in dire need for money. That's so critical. People are always like, oh my God, we have 1 month left. We need to find an investor. And you're making a lot worse choices when you've got 1 month left.
Yeah.
You've done a couple different routes to, raise capital for Dope. So the first being Pie Shell. I believe that's the first. I think you had an angel maybe before then. But Pie Shell is a perks-based crowdfunding website. Can you talk a little bit about how your experience went with them and how that compared to the equity crowdfund you did with WeFunder?
Yes, totally. So I did have an angel investor in fall of 17. I was like 6 months in, but got someone that reached out after hearing about Dope, and it gave me the funds I needed to open the Pier 39 store. So that was incredible. And then early in 20...
Actually, can we just pause on that for a second? So you didn't yet have the store...
That was the physical rewind. Okay,
yeah. So this was before you opened the Pier 39 store. So how did you connect with them and how much did they invest?
So he wrote me an email and said he listens to the millennials in his office talk about what they think is cool and he likes to invest in those companies. So he wrote and was like, I've been hearing so much about Dope in my office and I'm wondering if you're looking for an investor. He's an angel investor in I think like 60 different companies. So just sort of like on the side from his work with a VC, tech VC. He likes to angel invest in different industries. So that can be kind of a cool route for people to go if you've got some contacts or connection of someone who's a VC in a totally different field. Like sometimes they want to put their toes somewhere else so that they're a bit more diversified.
But that was just total serendipity.
Yeah.
There was no like strategic mastery on your part.
No,
it was just he reached out.
Totally, he reached out. Super incredible. Because it was like 4 days before Pier 39 called me saying they had a space available on the pier and would I be interested.
Wait, but had you already reached out to Pier 39?
I had submitted a contact form.
Does everyone just throw themselves at you? Angel investors, like Pier 39, Shark Tank, they recruited you. WeFunder investors.
I mean, I would say when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in the world, like the right stuff does come your way, and the check will show up when you need it, and the right person will walk in your door when you need them. And I mean, that investor writing me was crazy timing. I had submitted a contact form for Pier 39 when I first started the company. I mean, such a crapshoot, right? You're just like, Pier 39 is huge, but like maybe they'll have like a cart opportunity or something. And, you know, it was months later, but like, wow, the timing to be within days of each other was incredible. So put together a pitch deck. I had set up the meeting with this gentleman, but was like a little hesitant because it's like, don't take money you don't need. I'd been looking for some real estate in Fisherman's Wharf already with a realtor. So it was like, maybe if we find something, like things will align. And then with the pier, it was just awesome. I went and viewed the space. He wanted $100,000 to buy out his cupcake cafe that was there. I said, I've got 60, and he said, okay. And then so I went and had the meeting with the investor and was like, look, I need $100,000 so I could use 60 for the buyout and 40 for renovation. And I had the money and the keys in my hand 2 weeks later.
That's amazing.
And then I opened that store 19 days after that. Lived in there and like hand stripped the wallpaper myself. Like all that greenery you see on the back wall was like me on a ladder, like staple gunning it in. So very scrappy, but yeah, I did it all for under 100,000 and got that store open. And I mean, it was just incredible, the volume that has been able to come through Pier 39.
Wow. And then back to Katie's question. So that was where you first raised capital to open the Pier 39 store, but then, talk a little about the pie shell.
So the pie shell opportunity wasn't specifically a huge capital need for like a store expansion or like new inventory or equipment purchases or something. It was on that mission-driven element. So, and I think it's really something that is a reason why rewards works, is if you've got like more of a purpose behind it. People have to be willing to say, here's my money, good luck, go do something with it. And they're going to feel a hell of a lot better if they're saying like, go do something good with it, you know, not just like go make more money. Like, yeah, you can have a compelling story and like people might want to personally support you, but it only could go so far. So if you feel like you're giving them some, you know, tangible element. So we were raising funds for campaign with Dope for Hope to go do a little West Coast tour and spread some joy around with our cookie dough. So but it was I think just under 10,000 when that closed. And it was hard. It was really hard. I think hustling like 2 or 3 times harder than I had to when I did the WeFunder raise. And on WeFunder, we raised like $150,000 or $160,000. Yeah.
What perks did you give out? Was it cookie dough shipped?
Cookie dough. Like people got the ability to make their own dope flavor. Like if they were high enough on that, it was like create your custom flavor and you can name it and we'll sell it in the store for a month. But yeah, lots of like you'll get free dough and free catering event I think as well. Yeah.
Nice. And how was the fulfillment for that? Like how many hundreds of investors did you have? Was the fulfillment tricky?
Fulfillment wasn't too tricky of it, and I think we only had I'm not remembering the exact number. I think it was like maybe 70 people or something like that. Yeah. Little bits, yeah.
I was one of them. I got a t-shirt.
Amazing.
That's great. I wear it with pride.
Big win.
So you finished Pie Shell, you went into the next summer and we're kind of looking for what's next with Dope. What led you to WeFunder? And what was the process like getting started for you?
Yeah, so I think after that summer hit and I got the chance to meet Johnny and learn about WeFunder, I was simultaneously looking at Dope's next big step. And with our success on the pier, I realized that tourist locations were going to be huge for us and set my eyes on Las Vegas, both to keep that tourist market alive and get people who are ready to indulge a little bit, but also to take my mission around mental health and addiction right to the Strip. Sin City itself deserves a booze-free cookie dough bar. And got the chance to put that presentation together with the WeFunder team and put something up that could say, hey, you know, we have this great opportunity. I'd met with Miracle Mile shops already inside Planet Hollywood and had a space picked out and generally starting to get the budget together on what it would cost to do a build out. So wanted to get some chunk of money towards that, and also, you know, in the crowd marketing element, like get a group of people who were really behind what I was doing and would help spread the message around that. So we worked together, did the audited financials, got the profile set up. I worked with a videographer who had helped me on the Pie Shell raise. It's 845A is the name of his agency. He's amazing. Did my Shark Tank audition video with me and like all that stuff too. So nice. Really great guy, and he focuses specifically on crowdfund marketing. So he's awesome. And we use that kind of cuts of that video for the WeFunder thing, and it was a really great chance to say like who I am, why we exist, and the traction we've had, both in our like following and revenue numbers. So not too crazy on the lift. I think it was a few weeks, maybe a month or so of working with you guys, and then it went live, and then fire started. Woo! Yeah, did it
in a good way.
It was awesome. The best fire, like there's the momentum goes and starts rolling, and those people start telling somebody else, and it was good stuff.
How did you get that momentum going when you first launched the campaign, or even before the launch?
Yeah, like the pre-launch thing was, how much did I have to raise before it went live?
A couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
I think it's 5,000 that you had to raise. I mean, it's up to you how much you wanted to go live with, but the threshold is 5,000.
Okay, I think I did like 25. I feel like I got to 25,000 or something, 20,000 maybe. But yeah, sent out, and had a lot of discussions with people who'd lightly said they'd love to invest one day. You got to just keep those people in your brain when you're talking about your business or in early stages. And there's those people that are like, come to me one day when you need funding, and it can be really helpful to keep them in your pocket. So had thrown some of those out and got a few like 5,000 this or that, and yeah, it just moved on from there. Once it went live, couple email blasts from Dope, couple of social posts
to your like customers and
to my customers,
people on your email list.
We have a fairly large email list because we have so many new people. It's 98% new customers at the pier, and now at Vegas, but I only had the pier then, and that many new faces coming through and maybe leaving their email for a receipt at the store or something.
So how did you
contact a lot of them?
Was there any trepidation about emailing your customers about raising money? Because that's something I wonder about with some founders that are raising with us. It's like, are you comfortable going out to your customers who you have this customer relationship with and saying, oh, now by the way, something totally different and new that they probably never experienced before, invest in Dope? How did that kind of thought cross your mind?
Harder with the perks based, when I was doing it on Pie Shells, saying like, hey, please just give me money. Like, I'm running a business, but like, give me money. And again, why it's easier to say give me money, because I want to do something good for the world. But in this term, saying like, hey, I need money to just continue to grow my business. Like, I want to open a store in Vegas. It wasn't like some goodwill gimme. Right. But you're giving them an opportunity to be a part of something they loved, enjoyed, or believe in some capacity. So I think it's a really great opportunity to have people even more invested than after they took the first bite of your product or whatever it is. You want them to say like they've been and experienced and see the promise of what it could have. So the opportunity to be a part of that is huge. We did a debt plan, so technically none of these investors will have like a long-standing portion of Dope. We did a repayment, so they'll all be paid back with hefty returns. It's amazing. It's hard to find like a guaranteed-ish return on an investment these days. So trying something like this and getting paid back in a healthy volume is nice. But I don't have to have all those people on my cap table forever, but they all feel like pretty emotionally invested in Dope, and so that terminology still was used. There's a big education component with emailing it out there. I think like older generations, my dad included, was like, what is going on? Like, what is crowdfunding? They just can't compute that you would need to like ask individual people to help fund your business. It's just kind of a new world thing. But, Kickstarters and WeFunders, and it's all getting out there more and more. So the concept is sticking. Gets confused with like GoFundMe a little bit, where you're like, hey, I'm not looking for like a donation. This is like you guys give a real chance.
Donation spelled DOUGH.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. No donations around here. Just a chance to be a part of something they love.
We hear a lot about going on to raise from VCs or maybe other institutional investors in the future, and the perception of crowdfunding, as you were saying, for like more conservative traditional investors who may be a little bit older. Have you experienced those types of conversations, and do you think your 2 crowdfunding raises are still an advantage for Dope?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, to be honest. I've gotten feedback in both realms. I've had people in the investor world, maybe slightly less sophisticated, that were like, oh, it's incredible, you had 152 people that were like willing to put their money up for you. But then some other money I've heard, can look down upon it and don't like if you've got, all these crowdfunders on your cap table, for example. So I'm not in that camp, so I haven't had any specific response, because I haven't had to be like, oh, by the way, if you invest, we also have these like 100 and whatever people on my table. So I haven't had to run into the negative side of it, other than in conversation hearing that it's happened to others. But for me, most of it's been positive. It's all about how you spin it. I mean, that's life, right? So if you're able to explain it clearly enough that it got you this opportunity, that brought you this much revenue, and now you're here ready to take the next stage and you've got 150 cheerleaders on your side, like, great. Yeah, find a way to spin it.
Did you find that running the Pie Shell campaign and then the Wheat Funder campaign pretty soon afterwards, was there any blowback from people that you were reaching out to about, or confusion that, this was a perks-based campaign and then this was a debt-based investment campaign?
No, because we really did use more of like the donate type of terminology with Pie Shell, and then this was like, and even in Pie Shell, we got people writing like, are you ever gonna, do crowdfunding? We'd love to invest. Like, I want to invest, but I have 5,000, or I want to invest, but I have 10,000.
I want to make sure that we get this part recorded, but the kind of early, like very early days of Dope, when you first decided that you want to make this change in your life and you want to go for it, like to launch it, I just think it was so scrappy the way that you, I'll let you tell it, but could you talk a little bit about how you got it going? Yeah,
Scrappy is my middle name, and I highly recommend anyone, particularly if you're thinking of going into food, to like consider how scrappily you can do it. You don't need to open some 2,000 square foot restaurant to get started and like prove your concept out. So when I moved to San Francisco, it was an internal shift inside my tech job that brought me down here finally. And had grown up in Sacramento, but always wanted to make it to the Bay. Made it down here, and as the obligatory requirement of moving here, you've got to try being vegan. So I was, baking vegan and everything. Got this great recipe that was part-time vegan. It had an egg substitute, but was using butter, and so it was like this decadent, delicious cookie dough. I'm like, okay, people love cookie dough. How can I sell this? And I went to like a wood shop in Soma, and it was called the Tech Shop. I think it's since closed down, but they made me this like catering cart. Like I had I just did some drawings like on a piece of paper of what I thought it could look like, to have like 4 tubs of dough on the top and like storage stuff underneath. I got 2 like metal, I think they're hospital carts, like medical carts from my stepdad. He like is in construction. I cleared out of the hospital recently. So I like affixed those 2 together and then got them to build like wood panel siding. So it looked really nice. And then a wood chest on top that could hold the 4 dough things. So from the front, it was like this awesome like reclaimed wood. Like, if you look at some of our old pictures on Dope, like you'll see that first cart. We used that thing for like a year, and it was $500. But that was the starting point. Was like, I took it out to Dolores Park. I had found a kitchen in Oakland a couple of weeks prior, and was like, look, I want to start on 4/20. It's the first day of my sabbatical, and a suiting day to bring cookie dough to Dolores Park and see who wanted to eat some. So I'd taken like a wagon full of ingredients on the BART over to Oakland and made 100 pounds of dough, took the BART back, and was ready to try and go sell it. So went to Dolores, and we sold out in like 3.5 hours or something, 3 hours. Wow.
How many people in Dolores Park assumed that your cookie dough
had something extra?
Yeah.
Oh, lots. People would walk up and be like, okay, so I've never done edibles before. How much should I have? Because we're like, edible cookie dough, like come get edible cookie dough. And I was like, look, it's sugar highs only. It's going to be amazing. But like, everything you're feeling is just from your own goods. So it was a good time though. It was a good time, and that got it off the ground, and it was just like a slow evolution from there. I mean, I never bought a car for Dope. I ran every catering event out of Lyfts and Ubers. I would have them pull up and just say, hey, can you wait a second? I need to load some stuff in. And if you saw everything we bring to an event for catering, just know that I have broken all of that down hundreds of times into a Prius, and it's an incredible feat, and no one thinks it's possible, but I just asked the driver to step to the side and let me like do my thing, and then I was like banged and bruised and cut like every day.
And have a 1.42 star rating on Uber.
Exactly.
Because you made every driver wait for 20 minutes.
It went down a little bit during that time, but we're back up.
And you feed them really delicious
and I
cookie
feed
dough.
them, yeah. Sometimes we'd leave a few scoops with the driver to say thank you. But yeah, it's incredible how low cost you can start a business. I mean, we were profitable from like the second month of the business because it was just like I put virtually nothing in, and then the cost of ingredients so low, I'm making it myself. My mom was driving out from Sacramento every Sunday to meet me at the kitchen, taking the BART, like didn't even do a rental car to like go to the kitchen and back, like hauling hundreds of pounds of dough like in a wagon on the BART. That's the early grind, but did it to prove the concept, and then expenses start to grow from there, and now it's like we have like $100,000 in expenses a month. Like, wow. It's crazy. It's crazy what you get to once it grows, and there's so many more moving pieces and components and comfort. Like, an employee is not going to be willing to grind like you did and like haul catering equipment up and down like San Francisco apartment stairs every day. So like you need to get a storage unit, and you're going to have to end up getting a car. You're going to pay for reimbursement on their car. So it all comes, but prove it before you kill yourself in costs.
So what's next for Dope?
I think like I said on Shark Tank, World Cookie Dough Domination is coming. I'm working on it. I think there's some really exciting partnerships in the works, like opportunities to work with some elevated brands and be able to do collaborations there. Nothing we can shed too much light on yet, but stay in touch on our social media.
Elevated as in you can get high on your cookies.
Yeah, right? Oh, that's not coming quite yet. But no, I think the CBD route will be like for us eventually. We're definitely into that. Trying to avoid the like mind altering substances just in an effort to like feel the feels and like, deal with stuff yourself, all that good stuff that we talk about. But we're looking to expand our vending concept. We've got the Dope Dealer vending machine. It's got poker chips down the front. So like, Vegas casino dealer.
Amazing pun.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, like the casinos and everything in Vegas. So we made the Dope Dealer. It's got poker chips, and it sells our cookie dough 24/7 outside of our storefront. McCarran Airport saw that and was like, yo, we'd love to see about a vending machine there. So working with them and potentially SFO to do some airport vending opportunities, and moving into some cool stuff with e-commerce, and just trying to like elevate our marketing to make people know why we're different than the competition. There's some names that have come out recently with different edible cookie dough options, but we've got a lot to stand on. Dope is edible and bakeable. We've got 7 all natural ingredients that make up the base, and we have a lot to talk about as a brand with purpose. So
what's the thinking behind, because obviously running retail stores is hard enough, but you're running retail stores, but then also going into these different avenues, like vending machines, totally different, and then you've got the online e-commerce,
grocery, all that.
Why kind of diversify the business models versus just say, okay, we're going to get outstanding at running retail storefronts?
I think the retail storefronts are purposeful for the brand awareness to service all the other business channels, like having a place where people can really feel and get and breathe your concept. And then when they recognize you in the store or in the airport vending machine or wherever, they're like, oh yeah, we had that when we were in Vegas, or, that kind of mental connection. But it's also a bit of a safeguard if you think about the economy and what's happened in the past. This like big downturn or like whatever's coming. And it's like, if I'm only in these physical storefronts in tourist locations and people stop going on vacation as much, it's going to be difficult to make it last. But if I ship nationwide, or you can buy us in the grocery store, or we're in the vending and people are still flying, like, you've just got other outlets to help support it all and help support the overhead that you need. If you want to build a really large business, you're going to start having more expenses, and 2 stores alone can't cover those hopes and dreams. They've got to start to elevate and build the other business channels.
Cool. So we ask at the end of every podcast a piece of advice for someone running an equity crowdfunding campaign, and then a piece of advice for an entrepreneur, maybe in this case a food entrepreneur, or someone launching a retail business.
Yeah. For someone looking to do a crowdfunded campaign, I would just say get the conversations going early. Like, don't wait until it's launched to start telling anyone that you're going to do it. A bit of excitement and allure, like before it's released, is worthwhile, and makes it not such a, oh no, I need it now, like shock when they first hear about it. You got to give them a little bit of time to warm up. Get it on the forefront of your mind and in the forefront of every conversation for a few months leading up to it. And then I actually have 5 pro tips for entrepreneurs.
Wow.
I'd love to share.
Prepared.
Because I'm extra all the time.
You're 5 times better as an entrepreneur than our average podcast guest.
100%. No, I mean, these have been like 5 things I boiled down that I think have made Dope as successful as it is, so it's worth passing on. The first one is to operate as if success is inevitable. You've got to go into every conversation and every decision as if it's going to happen the way you want it. And I know the power of positive thinking, all that, gibberish that we all talk about, it really does have power. Like the way you present yourself or the way you proceed, like will change the outcome. After Shark Tank, for example, I got a no on stage. I didn't pause conversations with Miracle Mile shops. I didn't pause conversations with the general contractor for the build out of that store. Like I kept going knowing I was going to find an investor. And then a couple months later I did. Number 2 is stay focused on what makes you different. I think it's really easy to listen to everyone else chattering about what you should go into or what you should try or how you should offer this or that. Know what is your differentiator and don't deter from it. Number 3 is hire for what you suck at. You're really cool. You've got some great ideas. I totally believe in you, but you're not great at everything. And there is stuff that will save you a lot of time and money to let you focus on what you are really good at. And you can hire some help to do the other stuff.
What are you great at and not great at?
Pretty much everything, but no, just kidding. I think my strengths are really with people, being able to, and often with an entrepreneur, it's that passion. Like no one will be as excited about Dope's future as I will be. So the business development stuff and partnerships and those kind of relations are my thing. I don't love operations. Like, I've got a great idea. It's going to be awesome. Here's what it could look like. But like coming to terms of like how it will function or like keep the business running kind of stuff is just not my forte. So finding a really strong COO was important. And accounting early on, like 3 months into the business, I hired an accountant to do all the bookkeeping because it was like, it's just not my thing. I could learn it. Cool. There's nothing you can't learn, but just not my thing. Number 4, super important, never say no to an introduction. It's really easy to get caught up in what you're doing and think that this intro is going to have no value. And then all of a sudden they like introduce you to your next investor or your next like huge business opportunity. And like I've had weird connections come from stuff where you just think like, why am I meeting with this person? And then like really amazing opportunities come from it. Number 5 is be a good human. So do this for more than just you. I think at the end of the day, you've got an awesome product or you've got some great food concept or whatever it is, and you want to get it out there, but just consider from the start of your business how you could grow it to help more than just yourself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kelsey, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been really fun.
Go team!
And punning together.
Go team!
Go team!
I'm going to be thinking about cookie dough puns for the rest of the day.
Yes,
yeah.
So
likewise.
I will text
That's
you
what we'll leave
when I
with.
think of some.
Perfect. Awesome. Well,
Awesome.
Thanks for having me and have a dope day.
Adventure Capital is brought to you by your fundraising team here at WeFunder, which consists of Johnny Price, Katie Powers, and myself, Oliver Foyahan. We'll be sharing the adventures of one of our WeFunder founders every other week. If you have any comments, ideas, suggestions, or would just like to find out more about WeFunder or our founders, don't hesitate to contact us at hello@wefunder.com. We'll see you next time.